as the morning light penetrates the water vapor of Poing Lake, covering the peaks of Lushan with a layer of golden muslin. The scroll described by Bai Juyi as Kuanglu's marvelous beauty is unparalleled under heaven unfolds before our eyes. This fault block mountain lying across northern Jiangxi takes the 1,474-meter high Dahanyang Peak as its bones, the three-tiered spring waterfall as its soul, and the clouds and mists of Guling as its clothing. Through millions of years of geological movements, it has nurtured a unique style of majesty, strangeness, steepness, and elegance, from Sima Qian's record of climbing Lushan in the south to watch you harness the Zhujiang River to Li Bai's exclamation of a waterfall flying down 3,000 feet. From Sushi's philosophy of not knowing the true face of Lushan to Mao Zedong's lofty sentiment of heavenly made an immortal cave, Lushan, with its clouds, mists, and rocks, carries half of China's cultural history. The birth of Lushan is a thrilling geological epic about 130 million years ago. The Yantian movement caused this landmass to rise strongly. The fractured rock layers formed steep mountains under the action of gravity, while the Poing Lake basin sank relatively. Creating the peculiar pattern of the mountain is like an incense burner floating on the water. This fault block landform gives Lushan 72 peaks of various shapes. The 5 old men peaks are like 5 old men sitting side by side, facing Poing Lake. Hanpoku, the mouth of embracing Poing, is like a giant whale's open mouth, inhaling and exhaling the lake and mountain scenery. Longshuya Dragon Head Cliff is like a giant dragon raising its head, overlooking the deep valleys and seas of clouds. What is most amazing is Lushan's waterfall group, which is a joint masterpiece of rock fractures and water erosion. Three-tiered spring is known as the first wonder of Lushan. The spring water flows from Dayu Mountain at an altitude of 1,200 meters, passing through 3 levels of cliffs, forming a 155-meter drop 3-tiered waterfall. During the rainy season, it is like a silver river hanging upside down, with a deafening sound of water. The Mon waterfall under Incense Burner Peak is named because the water flow is scattered, like a horse's tail. When Li Bai traveled here, he wrote the eternal famous line, "The sun shines on Incense Burner Peak," generating purple smoke. From afar, I saw the waterfall hanging in front of the river. There is also the Caxian waterfall named by Zhu Shi. Su Dongpo once inscribed the words Yuyuan Jadabis here, witnessing the 1,000-year dialogue between water flow and rocks. The clouds and mists of Lushan are even more a divine stroke of nature. It is covered by clouds and mists for more than 190 days a year. Guling town is often submerged in the sea of clouds, with only the spires of Western-style houses exposed, like castles in a fairyland. These clouds and mists come from the water vapor of Poing Lake and the evaporation of mountain streams. When waterfall clouds form in the valleys, they pour down from the mountain tops like 10,000 horses galloping. When they turn into jade belt clouds, they wrap around the middle of the mountain, dividing the mountain into upper and lower worlds. Geologists say that the clouds and mists of Lushan are not only a landscape, but also a microcosmic sample of the Earth's atmospheric circulation, recording changes in the regional climate. Lushan is one of the few places in China where 3 religions coexist. Religious buildings and natural landscapes are integrated into a unique cultural landscape. During the Eastern Jin Dynasty, Master Huyuan founded the Pure Land sect in Donglin Temple, advocating chanting Buddha to be reborn in the Pure Land. The 6 dynasties pine in the temple is said to have been planted by Huyuan himself. Witnessing more than 1,600 years of morning bells and evening drums in the Tang Dynasty, Ma Zhu Daoyi propagated Dharma in Guisong Temple, spreading Zen ideas here. Today, the ink washing pool in the temple is said to be the remains of Wang's Zizi practicing calligraphy. Taoism also has a profound foundation in Lushan. It is said that Jin, the son of King Ling of Zhou, practiced here and became an immortal. Hence the legend of the place where the prince became an immortal. In the Song dynasty, Chen Tuan once lived in seclusion in Zixia Peak, leaving the illusion of sleeping immortal. The Immortal Cave is a naturally formed karst cave, named after the legend that Lu Dongbin practiced here. Mao Zedong's heavenly made an immortal cave. Infinite scenery at the dangerous peak made it famous nationwide. The Chenyang Hall inside the cave and the looking out at clouds. Flying stone carving outside tells the integration of Taoism and nature. In modern times, Lushan has become a museum of Chinese and Western architecture. In 1895, British missionary Edward Selby Little opened a summer resort in Guling and successively built more than 500 villas of various styles, including British Gothic, American Colonial, French Renaissance, etc. Today, 175 of them are well preserved. Among them, the Meilu Villa was once inhabited by both Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong. The Western-style furniture and Chinese-style ornaments inside coexist, witnessing the ups and downs of modern China. The former site of the Lushan Conference was originally the Lushan Grand Auditorium. Its Chinese Western architectural style records important historical moments. Each season of Lushan has its irreplaceable beauty. When spring comes to Lushan, the cherry blossoms in Guling and the azaleas by Rukin Lake bloom competition. The poetic scene of the flowers in the human world have withered in April, but the peach blossoms in the mountain temple have just begun to bloom in Huajing Park echoes, with Bai Jui's poetry style. In summer, Lushan is a natural summer resort with an average temperature of 20 to C. Clouds and mists flow among the forests. Under the thick shade of Sanbaoshu 3 precious trees, visitors often sit quietly listening to the waves, enjoying a moment of coolness. In autumn, Lushan is dyed red by maple leaves, looking out at the 5 old men peaks from Hanpoku. The mountains covered with layers of forests contrast sharply with the blue Poying Lake. The Ginkgo Avenue in the Botanical Garden is covered with golden fallen leaves, making a rustling sound when stepped on. In winter, Lushan turns into a world of ice and snow. Rime covers the pine branches, like jade trees and jade branches. The waterfall of 3-tiered spring condenses into an ice waterfall, crystal clear. At this time, climbing to Hanyang Peak, you can see the magnificent scene of thousands of miles of ice, thousands of miles of snow, drifting. The mornings and evenings of Lushan are even more rapidly changing wonders. Watching the sunrise at Hanpoku in the early morning, the sea of clouds tumbles under your feet. When the sun rises, the golden light penetrates the clouds, and the lake's surface shimmers like the beginning of heaven and earth. In the evening, watching the sunset at Shaoxianqi, the peaks are dyed crimson. The clouds and mists become deep as the twilight thickens, and finally merge with the night sky. Local mountain people say, the beauty of Lushan cannot be seen in a day, nor can it be enjoyed enough in 4 seasons. Every visit brings new discoveries. When UNESCO listed Lushan as a World Cultural Heritage, it commented the historical sites of Lushan in their unique way.